Phoenix Suns had their first domino fall on the trade market as they went through and traded Kevin Durant. But what could Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia have up their sleeves, as more trade updates could be coming on the horizon for this team as they look to revamp this roster and try to figure out who could potentially be gone? Could some of these pieces from this trade be rerouted in other deals, or potentially could we see the Suns use other contracts that they have under roster already in this deal to help shrink down their salary cap intake? We'll be diving and exploring all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic. You guys have been showing your love and your support on the channel, and I really do appreciate all the love that you guys have been giving us. But with the Kevin Durant news really coming in today, there's going to be a lot of news to break down and talk about, as there'll be discussions revolving around Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and more. So if you want to stay up to date on everything revolving around this Suns team, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you get the daily uploads and get all the news revolving around this squad as we get into the off season. Without further ado, let's dive in and let's get into the news at hand today. Make sure to grab that snack. And could we see some more moves coming for the Phoenix Suns in these next couple of days? I do think so, because following this Kevin Durant trade, we see the Suns still have a major hole at one of the positions and still have a surplus of a certain position as well. If we want to dive in and look at this, I already broke down the Kevin Durant trade on the channel, so if you missed that, go check out that video, see what I wanted to broke down on the return for the Suns, what else could happen. But the Suns are sending Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. And regardless if you like the fit, regardless if you think that this was the value for the Suns needed to do this move, as they needed to help get below the second apron. And the Suns need to do this to help out their thresholds to make some more moves. If we want to look at their salary cap so far with doing this Kevin Durant deal, the Suns now sit at $230 million on their roster. With guys like Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and etc. on this team, the Suns now do have more roster spots filled out, which is at least key, but still do have some free agents and some still contracts and non-guaranteed and team contracts. If they were able to waive the contracts of Cody Martin and Veliz Micic at this moment, the Phoenix Suns would be ever so closely of dropping into that first apron, which would help them get that flexibility to make other moves, to do deals. And that's where I think the Suns are really going to come into play when looking at guys like Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, potentially even Cody Martin, but even Jalen Green in a possible rerouting, or even Bradley Beal. The Suns also, like we mentioned, got the 10th overall pick and 5 seconds, with one of those being the 59th pick in the draft. So now the Suns have pick 10, pick 29, pick 52, and pick 59 in this year's draft. They could use those second round picks to potentially draft some two-way players to help fill out for the Valley Suns, or they could combine those all either alongside pick 29 or even just in general to move up in the second round, or potentially move it up in the first round to get another solid piece into this roster to fit in alongside those young guys that they drafted last year in Ryan Dunn and Oso Iguodala. But we do have some more updates revolving around this, as since this trade will not become official until July 6th, so no official word or press conference will happen until then, and that's from John Gambadoro. And that is key, because with this obviously not happening until July 6th, this means other teams can get involved, and we could see this trade be expanded on. And that's where I think we will see some of these moves coming into play here. We do know that the Phoenix Suns have had some interest out there on the market at some other positions, and maybe they use one of those contracts in those deals. Now, from John Gambadoro, we have heard that the Suns plan to not trade Jalen Green at this moment, as he's expected to play alongside Devin Booker in this backcourt. Once again, putting Devin Booker to that point guard book role. Now, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I know a lot of Suns fans are also not the biggest fans of this, but I do want to give Jalen Green the rite of passage here and try to give him the benefit of the doubt, because going into Houston, I was a huge Jalen Green believer in high school. This is one of my favorite players. His athleticism was put on key display, and I think he can bring that type of force for the Suns. The obvious concern with Jalen Green is his shot tendencies and his inconsistency to be an efficient shot maker and shot scorer. But in a Suns lineup where Devin Booker is maybe taking some more of those shots, maybe we'll see Jalen Green playing a little bit of a different role, or we could see the Suns even bolster the value of Jalen Green to be moved on another deal to kind of help out. We also have seen with the Cleveland Cavaliers that they like to utilize a two-guard heavy scoring offense with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. So maybe this is something that Jordan Ott is very comfortable with kind of using within his offense here with guys like Devin Booker and Jalen Green, and something that the Suns are very, very keen on doing. Now, ultimately, I do think they tried to trade Jalen Green around the league. They probably could not find a team that's going to take on his contract. So this could very mean the case that Jalen Green is just here for now for the Phoenix Suns, right? He is going to be on this roster and kind of play out for this season and then potentially be moved. But if it is for the long haul, then that is also key for the Suns. If Devin Booker at some point in his career, which I don't think is going to be happening at this point, but down the line in the future does express a trade out, you obviously have that filler player in Jalen Green to help kind of take that step next leap if he does continue to grow within this Suns organization. But not only just that, the Phoenix Suns now have the opportunity to try to move off a contract in Bradley Beal, as they have other deals and they also have some draft capital as well. They could attach potentially that 10th overall pick with a Bradley Beal contract to move off of it. And if the Suns were able to save the $50 million right there, that sheds them down to underneath the first apron with the roster that they now have constructively built. That will then put the Suns in some sort of way to reconstruct this squad and hopefully put a good team around Devin Booker and this new rejuvenated squad. But also, there are some updates, as we all know, with the Suns, that the Heat were fans of Cody Martin in some deals, and that the Suns could also potentially try to just discuss trades on Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. And we all know, with them now having Jalen Green, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Grayson Allen, that one of these shooting guards will be gone. Kind of be an eye out to see it, with Gambo's reporting saying that Green will be staying at this very moment. Obviously, keep a key eye on that. That thing can change just like that. But if the Suns are keeping Jalen Green, I would expect them to know and be confident in either being able to trade Bradley Beal, waiver stretch Bradley Beal, or move off of a guy in Grayson Allen as well. So keep that out there on the open. With the 10th overall pick, also the Suns now have multiple options if they do keep that to utilize to draft position of need. Maybe a wing, maybe a center. Those are key things to evaluate. Ultimately, it's not a home run trade. It's not a absolute slam dunk for the Phoenix Suns, in my opinion. They ultimately should have gotten a little bit more for Kevin Durant, but I do believe that it is a solid enough return for KD. Jalen Green is only being disregarded as a negative asset here for the Suns due to the fact that he plays the same position as Devin Booker. But if Jalen Green was not doing that and even still had these inefficiencies and qualities, fans would still be at least a little bit more bought into the acquisition because of the fit, not for the talent. And that's where I think we need to really tone ourselves down with Jalen Green and just wait and see what happens. Once again, this trade does not go through until July 6th. So leading up into the draft, the Suns can make even more moves, get more teams involved, use more contracts in this deal, and we could ultimately, coming out of July 6th, have a better understanding of what this roster is going to be shaped to be going into next season, which could make us feel a little bit better than we all do right now. So don't overreact. Obviously, wait to the end. No more cursing at Brian Gregory, guys. He made his first move. We can be a little bit discouraged with it, but ultimately we have to wait until the end of this little turn cycle to see what the full evaluation is. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like I said, they have 4 shooting guards. There's going to be more moves. Will it be Bradley Beal with a pick? Will it be Grayson Allen? Will it be Royce O'Neal? Will it be a Cody Martin? Will all of them just end up getting waived? We'll have to figure that out. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you guys ultimately think on the Phoenix Suns, and who do you guys see getting traded first? Personally, me, I can see it being Grayson, then maybe Bradley Beal on the sign-in wave. But that's just kind of where I am. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.